So welcome to today's orientation, Azure Database Administration training here at JoinIT. The good thing is that most of you here are already working as DBAs or have completed the database administration training or are about to complete the training. If you look at things very well, our training path at JoinIT is well structured, right? Taking you from an absolute beginner to become an IT professional. You started with computer basics, you went through a SQL Server training, you're in the job market, and you need to make progress. Like we say, you all just got started. There are a lot of things to do in IT, and picking up the data platform role, gives you a lot of tasks ahead of you and a lot of openings in which you can learn. So Microsoft Azure is the future, or cloud computing is the future. You don't just want to stop at where you are today. That is why you need to keep putting in effort. I never get comfortable where I am, because in the IT field, if you get complacent, what happens is that you tend to do one and the same thing over and over, and it becomes boring. Working as a traditional DBA, for quite some time, I feel like it was good for me to go out there, learn other things, and market myself. So this is a well-structured path for you. All you need is to dedicate time. You all have decided to be IT professionals. Even if it means going to school every day, attending SQL classes, attending Azure classes every day, that is what you should do. People who go to college here, they go to school pretty much every day. I remember when I was in the university, I used to go to school 4 days a week, having classes. So yours should not be different. If you are having your regular SQL classes 2 days a week, you can still adjust your schedule to be able to attend Azure classes, because this gives you that solid foundation to get into the IT field. Okay. So, you all know already what JoinIT is all about, right? Just building that solid IT foundation and looking at becoming the leading gateway for IT training and services. We are actually going there. We are getting there. We have made tremendous progress over the years, right? And we see a lot of potentials. The number of students that are coming in, the vision that we are marketing out there, it is really amazing. And we believe that sometime down the line, we're gonna meet our vision and our mission. So we want to first of all thank you all for being part of JoinIT. We look at each and every one of us as a family. That is why everything we do is more of a family-oriented approach, where we grow together, we support one another, and we push each other, to make progress. You all know some of our core values, and you can judge us on this. Right, you've been here. For those that have been here, those that are new, you'll get to understand it. The first thing is that we are reliable, right? Our core values are RIP, that stands for right. We are reliable. And I tell you this all the time, our word is our bond. When we say something, we do it. When we tell you that dedicate your 6 months and you'll be able to land a job, you do it. When we tell you that you have classes twice a week, we stick by that, and we make sure that you have classes twice a week. When we tell you that after your training at JoinIT, we'll follow you up for mentorship and all of that, we stick to our word. So our word is our bond. That is one thing that has really made us to be outstanding among other training institutions. Innovation, right? We like to bring in new ideas. That is why our training, those who took this training years ago, if you look at it now, it has been redesigned, the structure to meet the current innovations in the IT field, starting from the computer basics, the teaching approach, the methodology. We keep trying to make it better. And that is one thing that has really led to a successful JoinIT solution. Professionalism. We try as much as possible to be professionals in what we do. Looking at our instructors, looking at the management of JoinIT, looking at the way things are being done. Right, professionalism is one of the key things that we look up to, and that has also been, very successful. And expertise. You see, I'm not comfortable. I don't sit at the same spot. I try to learn. I try to do other things so I will get the experience and the expertise to be able to teach. Same like other instructors. We could just decide and stop at the level of teaching your SQL Server, but no, we go further. We take a step to learn more and come and teach you because that is how the IT field is designed. Most of your instructors here at JoinIT are Microsoft certified trainers, meaning that we dedicate our time to get the knowledge that we need in order to transmit that knowledge to you. We have a vision to be a leading gateway for IT training and services, for professionals, and we have proven that over time. I can tell you, comparing our training with other institutions, you'll see that we are outstanding. So we are meeting our vision of being that leading gateway for IT training and services out there. Our mission is to train and equip IT professionals with cutting-edge skills that are needed to survive in this fast-growing IT world. And we are doing that. We are training you people. We give you the knowledge. We tell you the direction to go in order to gain the skills that will help you succeed in your IT career. So these are some of the things that we do. So why are you here today? You're here today because you've either heard about our Azure Database Administration training, you are in the job market, you have had a couple of interviews and they have asked you questions about Azure. You're looking at completing your SQL training and you want to start applying. You want to add more weight to your resume. And you generally want to build that IT foundation. That is why you're here today. This training package today, Microsoft Azure Training, Cloud Computing, is focused on database administration. This is a 4 months training, and within these 4 months, these are the things that you're going to learn. You will learn about Azure Fundamentals. There is no company today, or very few companies today out there without some sort of application hosted in the cloud. It could either be their Office 365, it could be their Exchange, it could be their Active Directory and all of that. So if you are in the IT field, if you have 4 years of experience on your resume and you cannot talk basically about cloud computing, then it's going to be challenging for you. If you take this training and you have just an understanding of Azure Fundamentals, it will give you an additional step or an additional advantage over others who have not taken this training as well. So Azure Fundamentals will introduce you to cloud computing, give you the cloud concepts and the cloud architecture. That is very important. It will help you to add those points on your resume. The next thing you will learn here is DP050T00. That is all about migrating SQL Server workloads to Azure. We here are database administrators. Most companies now are moving their resources to the cloud, and that is being done through migration. If you go on an interview and you cannot talk about migrating stuff from on-prem to the cloud, it's going to be very challenging for you. So this training will give you a hands-on experience on migrating databases, servers from on-prem to the cloud. That's exactly the skills that companies need now. In the next 5-10 years, a lot of companies are going to be in the cloud. That does not mean that on-prem environment is not going to exist anymore. The next thing you will learn here is DP300, which is actually a certification that you have to write at the end of the training, administering relational databases in Azure. This is the only database administration certificate that you have out there now, apart from the MTA. We used to have MCSA, MCSE, which Microsoft retired. They are pushing everyone now to the cloud. So this certificate is going to help you. If you just have these, guys, your resume is going to be very rich. And of course, we're going to look at Azure Administrator or Azure Administration. This is just like a sysadmin in the cloud. There are a lot of things that we'll do here that are related to this, and it will help give you a solid understanding of even the SQL Server and the on-prem environment by the time you're done with this training. Our hope is that once we start this training next week, You all should register for this exam in the next 3 weeks, Azure Fundamentals. The first 2 weeks will be focused for this certification. And the third week, you all should be writing this certification so that you have that on your resume while applying. Then towards the end of the training, we're going to work now on DP 300 and AZ 104. This is very important. This training duration is 4 months, and we're going to have classes twice a week. The start date is today, which is basically orientation. It has been well designed and tailored to meet your needs, taking into account your background. You're going to be in class not with people who don't have IT knowledge as you did in your SQL training, but those who have already completed a training or they are almost at the point of completing their training. It shall be a well-interactive class, more hands-on, and it will better your understanding both on-prem and in Azure. So in this class, you're going to have a couple of instructors. I, Brian, am an Azure database administrator. Excited to tell you all, I just started another Azure SQL Server job this week, coming back from Cameroon. And this is an offer I had since in November. Because of my skills, I had to make them understand that I'm going on a month vacation. They kept the job for me. So I left, went to Cameroon, came back, and the job was sitting there waiting for me, and I just started that. That is to tell you that we do all of these things to be able to have the hands-on skills to teach you. This is not my first Azure job. I've had a couple of Azure jobs. I've had contracts where I've worked basically migrating stuff from on-prem to the cloud. Next, here you'll see Stefan. Stefan is he's a database administrator. The training he took, a DBA training, but from there, after working in a Mindtree, he decided to focus just in the cloud. He is not just a cloud database administrator, but he is a solutions architect, meaning that he designs your cloud infrastructure, how things are going to be structured. He understands the database part of it. He understands the architectural part. He understands the security part. He understands the networking part. All of these virtual networks, how they're being built in the cloud. And most importantly, setting up the high availability and disaster recovery solutions. You will be hearing from Stefan shortly. The next is Alan. Alan today started as a database administrator. You all know him. He has been teaching. And today, he is working as an Azure database administrator. His contract now is basically about migration. We also have Galabe, who is today working as a hybrid DBA. So he has both on-prem and the cloud in his environment. So you see here that you're going to be hearing a lot from us, and we are already in the field and we know what to give you. Right? Others that you hear from, we have Silas, who is an Azure engineer and a database administrator. You have Silas actually attended the last Azure training that we had, and he landed his job. We have Vitex as well. He's going to be one of the instructor assistants here. He's a database administrator and Azure engineer. So you see that this team is ready to help you. All we ask you is to work on your schedule, make yourself available to learn some of this. Azure is very simple as compared to the SQL, because now with your SQL, you came in as a newbie, you did not know anything. With Azure now, you already have some fundamental knowledge. It's going to be more interesting and more hands-on. So before I proceed, I would like to just give the floor to Stefan to say a word.
Thank you, Prof. I think you said it all. I don't know what to say again, but I just want to welcome you guys in the class, and just to make sure that you guys are in good hands. This is the second time we're doing this training, and we have make it very, very, very good. We can make it better. So it's good because, as we discussed with Brian, to have people in this class that already have Azure database administration course will make it very easier and very, very interactive, because We're not going to go ahead and explain everything from the scratch, such as what is database, how to create a database, go ahead and talk about replication. No, we're just going to go ahead and do that, but not doing it in the on-prem, but doing that in the cloud. And I can assure you that if you dedicate yourself the same way you did when you were doing database administration, I know some of you already have jobs, some of you are in the job market, but dedicate some time, dedicate yourself. Let us train you, let us guide you, let us take you to the next level so that you can decide from there what you want to become, what you want to do. Because this training is going to open your eyes in the cloud environment. And then you're going to decide where you want to be. You can decide to become a security engineer. You can decide to become a cloud architect. You can decide to become a database administrator in the cloud. So you're going to decide what you want to be. You can actually decide to be both. Like me, I have multiple hats. I design, I do security, I do database, everything in the cloud. So you have that opportunity over here, and just dedicate your time. We're going to take you there. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, outstanding. Nice hearing from you, Stefan. And let us go to the next thing. If you listen very well, Stefan did mention that you can put on multiple hats. The IT field, one good thing IT is that there are a lot of openings, right? There are a lot of things you can do. You don't get complacent. You can decide that today I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You all started as database administrators, but you're looking at expanding your knowledge. The cloud itself is not much different from on-prem environment, but it has role-based certifications or role-based path that you can follow. If you look at my screen here, you see that everything in the cloud starts with that fundamental knowledge. You have artificial intelligence fundamentals, you have Azure fundamentals, then you have Azure data fundamentals. So this is a fundamental knowledge that you need to know. Once you know that, you can decide what you want to be. If you look at this upper level, if you look on my screen here, you'll see that if you start today with Azure fundamentals, there are a lot of things that you can do with these Azure fundamentals. You can decide to become an Azure administrator. There are jobs out there. You do that, you can decide that, hey, let me follow the admin part, what sysadmins do. Let me follow the Azure DevOps. Let me follow the Azure Database Administrator. Let me follow the Azure Security Engineer, and even Azure Data Engineer or Azure Data Scientist. Just starting with fundamental knowledge, you have the idea of how every other thing here functions. Then from there, you can decide to go to the expert level where Stefan is today, who is Azure Solutions Architect or the DevOps Engineer. This is the expert level. But our goal today is to get you all started with the fundamentals. Then we get you to understanding Azure administration and definitely get certified with Azure Database Administrator, where you become an associate in the cloud. Then if you look at this, me personally, what is my goal? Doing all of these, being a DBA and all of that, I have a vision of what I want to be in future. And that is definitely becoming an Azure data scientist. Everything that I do now, I prepare myself towards that path. That is the same thing that you should do. I don't just want to be an Azure DBA. I want to do more, because training simply means that I get to a level and I pull people closer to me. I have to always go ahead and look at what next to do. That is a mindset that all your instructors at JoinIT will have. We are not just comfortable where we are. We need to keep making progress. And I believe that is what is motivating most of you. So this is the platform or the path that we're going to take you from here with your Azure fundamentals. Then we'll go and look at admin stuff and Azure database administration. The next 4 months, you all should have at least 2 of these certifications, 1 and 2, and we shall ensure that you do. Once you do this and you're in the job market, it's going to be very easy for you to secure a job. So remember, we have said multiple times that data is the most integral part of every company, the most valuable asset of every company. So an IT path that is linked with the data route is very, very promising. Database administration, data analyst, data scientist, data engineer, and all of that. So you all have selected a well-structured path in the IT world. So again, congratulations for coming this far. Looking at this, the Azure Data Platform roles, like I just mentioned, what is my vision? Why do I really want to be getting into the cloud? You see, you have Azure Data Engineer. Azure Data Engineers, before I go there, you all are database administrators, right? You do everything about administering databases on-prem. But going to the cloud now, these roles are really, they're divided, which you can pick one and focus on. The good thing here is that you have that fundamental knowledge, which is administering databases. You have the knowledge on data management, how data is being collected, how data is stored, how data can be transformed. So getting into the cloud is going to be an easy transition to each and every one of you. Azure Data Engineers design and implement the management, monitoring, security, and privacy of data using full stack Azure Data Services to satisfy business needs. I can decide that after this, our Azure training, I will take another training on becoming an Azure Data Engineer. Azure Data Analysts, they are there, enable business to maximize the value of the data asset by using Microsoft Power BI as a subject matter expert. Data analysts are responsible for designing and building scalable data models, cleaning and transforming data. This is something that after this training at JoinIT, when you're already working as a DBA and you are going to the cloud, after this training, you can decide, okay, I need to continue building myself in IT, and this is what I want to do. You can decide to pick the Azure Data Scientist, which this is my target. This is where I want to head to. You apply the knowledge of data science and machine learning to implement and run machine learning workloads on Azure. The other thing you can do is Azure Artificial Intelligence Engineer. And of course, where you all are today is Azure Database Administration. This is the training that we are focused on today. From here, you have knowledge in SQL, you have knowledge in Azure, then you can decide to pick any of these and add it. Down the line, JoinIT Solutions is going to be offering training in all of these platforms. So, as an Azure Database Administrator, what do you do? The Azure Database Administrator implements and manages operational aspects of cloud native and hybrid data platform solutions built on Microsoft Azure Data Services and Microsoft SQL Server. The Azure Database Administrator uses a variety of methods and tools to perform day-to-day operations, including applying knowledge of T-SQL and administrative management purposes on these databases hosted in the cloud. I want to tell you guys, there is no company that, I'm not going to say no, but most companies, they perform in a hybrid platform. That is why you cannot just take someone who does not know anything about administering SQL Server databases on-prem and start teaching them how to become database administrators in the cloud. Most companies, they still have that hybrid. Their workloads are still in the on-prem, they are trying to migrate them. So with your knowledge of on-prem, you are adding the cloud now to it. It gives you more knowledge on the things that you're going to be doing. The next thing, you look at the responsibilities. Similar to your responsibilities on-prem, plan and implement data platform resources. Implement a secure environment that is securing the data in the cloud. Monitor and optimize operational resources. Optimize query performance, automate tasks, plan and implement high availability and disaster recovery solutions. These are things you already know on-prem. Let me tell you something. Setting up replication in the cloud is just a matter of clicking. There is really nothing difficult there because everything is well structured. The cloud setting is very easy. Creating a database is very easy. Setting up geo-replication is very easy. Setting up failover groups is very easy because everything has already been designed. You are just there to do the clicks and the click. So this is a very good training for each and every one of you. So some of the things that we're going to be looking at in this training are Azure Fundamentals and Administration, Azure Database Offerings and Migration, Azure Security and Network, setting up high availability and disaster recovery solutions in Azure, and of course, projects. Going down there will now prepare you for your certifications. So these 4 months is going to be very interesting for each and every one of you.
I want to add something, Mr. Brian. So don't just think that because when you get into the cloud, you're not just going to be talking about database administration, because at some point they're going to start talking about networking, storage, security. You should be able to go in and say something maybe when you are in the meeting. And we are preparing you in this class to be able to handle those type of meetings. So at the end of this class, you'll be able to go ahead and maybe talk about networking, talk about firewall, application gateway, whatever is happening in your company, even if it's not your area, even if you have a network engineer in the cloud, you can also go ahead and have your input. So we are preparing you over here to be able to say something on that.
Perfect. Okay. So please, if you can turn on your video, that will be nice. So at least we know the people that we are talking to. I'm going to give a break and have you all turn on your video. Okay, perfect. So let us look at this. Before I proceed, I sent out a link on the chart for you all to pick what days work best for you for this schedule, for the training. If you can go to your Zoom chart and click on that link and just pick 2 days. You'll see you have Tuesday, you have Thursday, you have Saturday. There are 2 slots for Saturday. One is in the AM and one is taking you to the PM. You can only select 2. You cannot select all the 2 on Saturday. You can either select a Tuesday and a Saturday, or a Thursday and a Saturday, or a Tuesday and a Thursday. So go ahead and take a minute and let me know if you are able to get to that link. Okay. So we'll look at just giving you some ideas on what we're going to be talking about in this training. Azure database offerings. So what does Azure offer in terms of databases? So you will look at cloud services, which you will talk about infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and you'll be able to categorize all these database offerings into those services. Basically, Azure has what we call SQL Azure VMs, which is just like a virtual machine that you have on your computer that has SQL Server installed on it. We have Azure Managed Instances, which is kind of a replica of your traditional SQL Server on-prem, which falls under a PaaS solution. Also, we have Azure SQL Database, which is a fully managed PaaS solution by Microsoft. Here you also look at single databases, elastic pools, hyperscale, and serverless computing. So these are some of the things we're going to be working on. And of course, we'll look at other open source databases that are hosted in your Azure platform, like Cosmos DB, MongoDB, and all of that. This training is going to give you a good understanding of what you've done already on-prem, as well as introducing you to cloud computing. Okay. So why should you take this course? Why do we encourage you? It is not because we like teaching all the time. I would definitely want to have a break, stay for about 3 months without having to bother about teaching and all of that. But at JoinIT, because our goal is for us to grow progressively, our goal is for us to go there and look at these trainings, tailor them to meet your needs. We get so happy when a trainee has a job, because you having a job, it does not just impact your life, it impacts yours and that of your family, and of course, our entire community. Come to think of it, if your circle of friends now, 15 of you, and all of you are database administrators, life is gonna be so comfortable. You can decide to take a vacation, come visit me in Com, go to the Com Palace and do a lot of stuff there, right? If you all are DBAs. So we need to build that IT community. That is why JoinIT looks at every possible opportunity to start building you, help you grow progressively. So this course will introduce you to cloud computing and database administration in the cloud. It will give more weight to your resume. Right now, if you go on an interview and they're asking you about migrating to the cloud, we are looking at moving to the cloud, you don't have anything to say. But with just this training, you'll be able to talk about the things that you've done because it's going to be more hands-on. Of course, as I mentioned, we don't have MCSA or MCSE certifications again for databases. All we have now is Azure DP300 administering relational databases in Azure. So this training will give you that database administration certificate. And of course, you have job opportunities. With this training, there's a high possibility for you landing a SQL Server job because companies that are looking at migrating to the cloud, they want to hire people now with cloud concept knowledge. That is why we are bringing in this training to you. And of course, we understand some of you are still rounding up with your training. We know you're having classes twice a week or 3 times a week. You can add an additional 2 days a week and better yourself. When you all were in the high school, you used to do 15 subjects, right? Or might be 4 subjects where you go to school every day. So here it should not be different. Let us dedicate more time to build our IT knowledge. We have talked about this. This training is a 4 to 5 months, 2 days a week and 3 hours a day training. Based on the results of your survey, I can see here, a lot of people are looking towards Tuesdays and Thursdays. So at the end of this, once everybody is done, I see 20 people have responded. If you have not taken the survey, please go ahead and do so. We'll look at what your class schedule is going to be like. Is there anyone in this class who is taking SQL classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays? No, I know my June session, your classes are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Right? So this could be an opportunity if this is the actual schedule for you all to enroll in this training. So please, if you consider taking the training, go ahead and fill out this survey so we can get a day that will work best for each and every one of you. Okay. So this training fee is $1,750. The first week of this training is absolutely free. So the whole of next week is absolutely free. Even if you've made up your mind not to continue, I encourage you to attend these classes because if you're about to get into the job market, you need to have some concept in Azure. Within that first week, you have an understanding of how the cloud infrastructure looks like. You have an understanding of cloud offerings. You have an understanding of cloud services, which will give you some idea to add on your resume. Then once you're done after the first week, the second week, meaning that by the 15th, you will pay in a registration, a monthly payment of $400. Of course, you can pay in full. Then from there, you can pay the balance over 4 months. So we want you to be able to make monthly payments of $400 starting from the 15th. And of course, you have your payment options there. We can give this to you after the first week of training. What do you need as material for this training? I know that most of you have taken a SQL training, so you, of course, already have a laptop that meets the requirements. You, of course, already have internet connection in your home. Unless you're in Cameroon, where you go through the stress I went through for a month, I don't think a lot of you are in Cameroon, right? So you have internet connection. And of course, you need a credit card to use it to create an Azure account. They're not going to be charging you because all the resources that we use we're gonna delete them. So you're not gonna be charged that much. You can allocate $10 a month for the resources, because a lot of hands-on. We're gonna create databases in Azure. We're gonna create virtual machines. We're gonna create storage accounts. But as soon as we do that and work with them, we delete them. That is the beauty with cloud computing. You only pay for what you use and for how long you use it. So we need only this, and we need a credit card that you can use to create an Azure subscription. Any questions here before we proceed? Any questions?
Just wish to ask, what if you already have an account created with Azure? What are you gonna do then?
That is fine. If you already have an account, that is okay. We're gonna use that account, right? If you had created a free subscription account, I believe it takes you for 30 days with your $100 credit. It expires. Then we'll upgrade that account to a pay-as-you-go account, and we'll continue using it. So if you have an account, that is fine. I already have an Azure account here, so I am not going to be creating another account. I already have an Azure account here. If I go, I have 2 subscriptions in Azure. So if you have one, that is fine, right? That is fine. Any questions again before we proceed?
Yes, sir. This is Adam here from C2B, C3B. So what is the total estimation about this course, including the fees, the class fees, and an estimation about how much we're going to be using around the cloud and computing?
Good question. The class fee is $1,750. And now, because in the cloud, some people might like to do extra stuff. If we come to them, we create a database. So there's no fixed amount for that. If I create a database today, my subscription here, one moment.
And one good thing about the cloud is when you create a resource, it tells you how much it's going to cost you a month. So when you create, you know actually how much you're going to be charged. But the best thing we do is when you create the resource, at the end of the course, we delete everything. If after that you want to go home and just keep practicing, yes, it's going to charge you, but it's going to charge you per minute or per hour. So after you're done, you can just go ahead and delete. So if you keep doing that, I don't see you maybe paying more than $20 on a monthly basis. So
yes. So let's look at this. If I create this database, Microsoft charged me for this database that I have created. For training purposes, we're gonna create this in class, play with it, and delete it back. So we don't expect you to spend more, but I want to give you out of experience. There are some students who you finish class and you say, hey, go ahead and delete the resources that you created, and they don't. Then the next day they are charged $5, $10. But believe me, the whole training is $1,750. And depending on how you create a lot of resources, that is how you're going to be charged. I've not seen anyone charge more than $10 a month for this training. I have a lot of stuff that I do for my own learning, and I get charged monthly, but that is because I like to do that. Okay?
Thank you.
sure.
Perfect.
Your question.
Yes, go ahead, Kingsley.
Yeah, you said for the first 3 or 4 weeks will be equipped to sit for the certification. That is the Azure Fundamental. Yeah. So is it also possible for us? I don't know. Is it possible for one to maybe like attend the first 1 month, have the certification as a starting point, and probably maybe continue later or something like that?
So we encourage you to start the training and finish it. Of course, things do happen. Once you start this training, you'll see how interesting it is, and you'll be pushed to finish it. It is not as tedious as SQL Server, guys. So you're gonna like to do it. right? Azure is very easy. Look at here. You already know what a database is. If we were to create a database today, it's just this. You just click here. We'll tell you about what is the backup storage redundancy, what is going to be the server name. We are not going to install SQL Server to host that database. It is very easy. What subscription? What is the database name? What is the server name? How do I want that? I go to networking. How do I want to connect to that database? What IP addresses has to connect to that database? So this is very easy as compared to SQL. It's not going to be stressful. I know SQL Server training, how difficult it is. With Azure, it is easier. Once you start it, finish it. But if something happens just like your SQL and you cannot finish, that is fine.
Okay. The second question. Yeah. Well, what is the difference between Azure cloud computing and other cloud computing like Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud, and so on?
So the one thing unique about all of them is that it's a cloud platform, right? And the cloud provides you these compute resources. Azure provides you compute resources. You can create servers. Amazon does the same thing and all of that. Before I answer that question, I would like to take you back to your SQL. What is the difference between SQL Server and Oracle? All of them are relational database management systems, right? One is developed by Microsoft, the other one by Oracle Corporation. So they do the same thing. Now, if you're looking at advantages, I can tell you that Microsoft is a giant in the tech industry. Most companies use Microsoft products. Microsoft Azure, you know, in the long run, is going to be that leading platform that most companies go to. AWS so far has been so tough, and a lot of companies are migrating to AWS. But again, all of them are just cloud platforms. They provide the same services. You're now looking at, if I want to buy a suit, do I go and buy it at Billington, or do I go and buy it at Ross, right? That's just a sample, but at the same time, it is just a suit that can fit you. So the cloud platform, when we talk about cloud fundamentals, we'll look at the various cloud providers and some advantages and disadvantages of going to any of them. But that is at the personal level. Because my company is already working on SQL Server, if they want to go to the cloud, they are considering going to Azure, because SQL Server is designed by Azure. So we want to just follow that uniqueness. A company that mostly deals with Oracle databases and all of that, they want to go to AWS, because AWS is more of that. But again, they all are similar platforms. They provide you the same services.
But also keep in mind that there is a compatibility between all those cloud providers. So even if your company just adopt Azure, they can also still incorporate some GCP or Oracle or AWS in there. So it's not like if you do Azure, you're just going to be working for a company that is just doing Azure. You can get into an environment where you have all 3 cloud or 4 cloud providers in the environment. So the company is going to look at what this cloud provider is giving up as a benefit. The other one is, so they're just going to look around and then just take the benefit of what they are offering. Keep in mind that you can do that too as well.
Right.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to show you here. If you log into the AWS Cloud Management Console, it's going to be the same thing. Creating the database is pretty much the same thing. It's just different interfaces, right? But you manage all of those in the cloud. Okay, what else? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I would like to give the floor to Galade to say a word. I know you've been having a tough time with your recent job.
All right. Yeah, Prof. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to see that people are thinking about progress, right? Especially all those that took the SQL training and are now here. You are in the right place. For those that don't have a job and you are here, that is the way forward, right? All of this is going to build you. You know, there are people like Prof. Stefan, who is now in the cloud, even though started from SQL, but his first jobs were leading to the cloud. So you never can tell. Whatever experience when you get into the IT field is just to keep going. You just have to keep going. That is very important. We cannot overemphasize that. It's becoming competitive out there, right? You go for interview, they no longer say, oh, only SQL. They kind of ask you, do you have an idea about cloud computing? Do you have an idea about Azure and all that? And this platform, that is why JoinIT cannot remain only at the level of SQL on-premise. We do all the best to go out there to get everything that you need to succeed, to enter and break barriers into the IT field. So you are in the right place, you have the right people. Right now, I myself, I am into Azure. It's my first official Azure role, but not that I don't have experience. I have experience, I have my platform. I've already taken the course and I've been doing stuff in Azure, but just that, you know, that company background is always a little bit different, right? So it's getting challenging. We're learning a lot of stuff every day, and boom, if I did not take the training, would I have even gotten the job to even have access to, you know, a cloud computing job? No. So the best thing that you can ever do is to get started, right? Like we always say, get started. You started at the level of on-premise, you started at the level of the cloud, and believe me, in the next 4 months, you'll see a lot of celebrations here. Your first job in the cloud, it's more than, we were talking about 6 figures at the level of on-premise. We'll be talking at almost double, right? So there are a lot of opportunities out there, and JoinIT is offering you just a whole lot. Exploit all what we have. Give yourself that personal commitment, because we can do all we can do. If you yourself, you are not committed and determined, hey, it's gonna be still like throwing water on the duck's back, right? I always emphasize that at this phase of your life, you are not learning to please somebody. You are learning to become what you want to become. And whatever you learn from day one to the last day you're going to graduate from JoinIT is what you'll be using in the field as your job responsibility. So why take it as a pinch of salt? Put in all that energy into it, master it, and when you go to the company, you become, you know, the top employee of the company, like some people have been doing, right? So I encourage everyone to stay focused, to stay committed, and to sacrifice. Right? If you don't sacrifice, I know we have a whole lot to do, but we need to sacrifice something to get something. And if you have taken this course, sacrifice, be determined, and put in all the energy. And I trust you have all the resources, you know, to push you through. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you, Galade. And before we go, it will be good so you all have an idea of what we're going to be looking at, right? So first, you all understand what an on-prem environment is. In this training, the fundamental is going to give you an idea of cloud computing, which is actually the delivering of services in the cloud, right? That is cloud computing. When we talk of these compute services, when we talk of services that you can have them in the cloud, what does that mean? Today, if you need a computer, first of all, you go to Amazon, you buy the physical computer, right? That physical computer, you need to determine what storage you need. If you see a computer that is nice and the storage is a little bit less, you need to be able to buy another hard drive to add it there. You need CPU or memory to add on that computer, right? So what is cloud computing? The cloud computing is delivering of these computer services in the cloud, meaning that those key services we are looking at is compute. Compute services have to do with your CPU, your memory, and all of that. Another service you're looking at here is storage, right? You're looking at storage, you're looking at networking. This is what interconnects all computers or devices within the network, right? And you're looking at analytics.
And security.
Analytics and security. This is what cloud computing does for you. It provides you all these services now in the cloud, meaning that if I need to purchase a server that has 6 GB of memory, 10 GB of storage, and all of that. I can just go to my cloud platform and I will provision this computer here to give me the resources. It is easier for me to scale up or scale down these resources. If I buy a computer today that is 16 GB and tomorrow I want to increase it because my workload has added, I want it to be 14 GB, 25 gig. I can easily go to my cloud platform because it is just like an application. You click and you increase something. I'll be able to do it. When you look at applications, you can also host your applications in the cloud-like databases. Right now, all you have in front of you is your client computer. If you need to have 10 database servers to host the databases of your company, normally, in a traditional way, you buy a server and you install SQL on that server. You look for a location to host that server. You need to ensure there is ventilation. You need to ensure there is physical security of that location. There are a lot of things that you take advantage of when you go to the cloud because your cloud provider manages all of this. A lot of people might think that talking about cloud computing, it means having computers in the air. No, there are no computers in the air. The cloud architecture is like this. You have a geography, which this geography is just like, let me take South Africa. That is a geography. In that geography, Microsoft will build what is called data centers. They will build availability, zones and all of that. So here in South Africa, you might have an availability zone where you have multiple data centers in here. These data centers are the same. They're in a physical location. They have physical security. They have ventilation. They have everything on this data center. What happens now is that on these data centers, they have servers in there. They put in their servers or their resources in such a way that you can access these resources over the internet. At this point, what is that telling you? You are not in charge of the physical security of this data center where that server resides. You can sit at the comfort of your home. You can sit at the comfort of your home and you log into a server that is hosted in South Africa. Your cloud provider takes care of all of that. They provision it. They just provide you access to that location. Unlike your on-prem environment, companies that have, they are not in the cloud, they have what is known as data centers. These are their data centers. They have all the servers there. If something happens, maybe the network engineer will move into this data center and see if a cable got disconnected. But in cloud computing, that is not how it works. Microsoft takes care of these data centers for you. All you need to do is sit at your home and you log into a server that is being hosted in the cloud by Microsoft. So you see that at the end of it, it is the same thing. Cloud computing is almost the same thing like your on-prem. Microsoft has all of these servers in a physical location, in a data center that they take care of. All they have done is they have built applications and networks in such a way that you can sit at your home and you buy a computer that is hosted on their data center to install SQL Server. Most of those computers, they have designed the application in such a way that you can buy a computer that already have SQL Server installed. You can buy a computer that already have a database. You can buy a computer that already have certain applications. So they centralize everything and just have you to come and look at it. In this training, one thing you're going to be seeing a lot, we're going to talk about infrastructure as a service. We're going to talk about platform as a service. The first week will help you understand these basic concepts. What is infrastructure as a service? Let me just do this so you all can laugh a little bit. Let me see. Who eats pizza here?
I do.
Me. Okay, so let me use this to illustrate what some of these things are all about.
I use fufu.
Oh, eat fufu as a service. I think I need to design something for Fufu as a service. So when we are looking at cloud services, right, these are some of the things that you'll be looking at. If you look at pizza, right, most companies that are not in the cloud, this is what they have. Homemade. You go to the market, you buy your flour, you buy all the ingredients, you come in, you bake it, you mix everything, and you do it. Same like a traditional company that is just on-prem. You buy a building, you buy your servers, you configure it, you look for network guys, engineers to set up everything, and you start using it, right? That is homemade, which is your traditional on-prem environment. If you're going further now in the cloud direction, the first thing you look at is infrastructure as a service. So instead of you buying and doing all of this, what happens is your vendor, for that pizza scenario, your vendor will provide you electricity and the oven. All you do is you do your conversation, you call your friends, you buy your beer, you buy the pizza, you do all of that. That is infrastructure. So your vendor actually takes care of the oven and electricity. On-prem or infrastructure as a service in the cloud means that what happens is Azure takes care of that responsibility of hosting those servers for you. Because in the pizza, to bake that, all you need is that oven and the electricity to light up the oven. Microsoft out there, they have the electricity, so they have that server hosted in their data center. The next thing you're looking at here is container as a service, right? You bring your own, you see the blue things here are what you manage. Your conversations with your friends, your beer, your pizza. Now, the vendor provides you with a fire to bake everything. So there are a lot, if you're looking at cloud services, you can break it down to what you do as compared to what the cloud provider does. It gets to a point where you don't need to do anything. All you need to do is come and eat, right? Which is software as a service. All you do is just utilize the software. Microsoft takes care of the infrastructure, the configuration of that software. You just need to come and use it. This is how easy it can be. You don't worry about the physical infrastructure. You don't worry about the security. You don't worry about anything. So these are some key things we're going to be looking at in the first week of the training. So we encourage each and every one of you to be there because it's going to be very interesting. Okay? Any questions for us? No, it's too much information. Is anyone excited?
We are all excited.
Yeah, sure. You're excited more than when you started the SQL training?
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
Do we need to do anything with our computers in terms of what we already have in there from the previous class?
No, you don't need to do anything.
Okay, thanks.
You don't need anything. All you need is your computer and access to the internet. So we are going to provide you with the materials, the books that you will need throughout this training. Well, once after this today, I will get your names. We'll add you in our classroom platform. We'll add in our classroom platform for the training where you get access to your welcome material. Azure Database Trainings, June 21, these. So at the end of this, we'll send you a welcome package. Those who will show interest, the welcome package will have the textbook that we'll be using in this class. Now we have one text, we're going to upload that. And also your class videos are going to be here. If you miss a class, you can always watch the class video to catch up, right? So this is going to be a very interactive and hands-on training. So from popular opinion, I can tell you that your classes are going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Tuesday and same on Thursday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. So you all should work your schedule around this. Does that make sense? And if need be, we shall always organize a revision class on a Saturday to help those that are behind. But for now, we don't want to build your expectations around that. But we'll make sure that we look at how things are going and we arrange a revision or a catch-up class on Saturdays if need be. Our instructor assistants will always be there to help you. Clovis is already working in the cloud. Silas, Vitex, all of these guys are working in the cloud, so they're going to be there to help you. So your class schedule is going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. It is always very challenging to have a schedule that matches for everybody. So we always try to go with the majority, right? So that is the approach that we are using. We try to go with the majority. So try as much as possible to fit into that schedule. Good?
Good, sir.
Hi, the thing is, Tuesday and Thursday, I have a maintenance video at work, so that's the problem. And that's why I wanted to have at least one class on Saturday, so in case if I miss Tuesday and Thursday, I know that on Saturday, I will definitely catch up.
Yeah, so we're looking at that. With this, it will make us go to think. We'll try to see if we can arrange classes on Saturday, and we'll discuss that on Tuesday. Right, we'll discuss that on Tuesday. So yeah, okay. I think that is a possibility. Again, our goal here is to be able to accommodate everyone as much as we can. We have the resources. We tell you this time and again. We don't come to do this because we want to extract money from you. If I or Stefan need a lot of money today, I will land another SQL job. They will pay me $120,000 a year. I will make money. I will not have to deal with Sylvia calling and telling me that her VM is not running. I will not have to deal with James telling me I had an issue at work. I will not have to deal with Bill telling me there is this interview that is upcoming, right? So the goal here is not to make money. It's to see how we all can grow together. And I say this 100 times. So if you're coming in, know that you are meeting a team that is dedicated to see you succeed. Your success to us is beyond the money that you pay, okay? So if it means that we dedicate more time to teach you, we'll do that at no cost for you. That is why our database administration training, after you graduate in 6 months, you look at Galabe there, he still stays with you. You're continuously taking training at no cost. Even when you are working your own money, no instructor comes to ask you for, $1 franc. When you have an issue, we are still there to help you. That tells you a lot about our mindset of building a community other than a mindset of sitting here to make money, okay? So if it happens that we need to add that class on Saturday, we'll definitely do it for you guys. Okay, so I think that is what we had for you all today. Our next class is going to be on Saturday. The class timetable is going to be out. We'll post the class timetable so you all can see that.
On Tuesday or Saturday?
I mean, Tuesday and Thursday. I told you all that OH is dealing with me. Some of you don't believe. So we have Tuesday, and add a slot there. So Thursday.
Tuesday and Thursday. That sounds good. But you said Saturday. So what are we gonna be doing on Saturdays?
No, I said if need be, we shall organize catch-up classes as a revision class on Saturday.
Yeah, you almost confused me too. But that's an issue with red feather entitlement thing. It's not an issue with the old people though.
Yeah, it sounds like you are knowledgeable about my achievements in the command.
Congrats and thanks for informing us about the class. Thank you.
Okay. I have a question.
Yes, go for it.
I'm with James right now. I don't know, on Tuesday, I'll be like 30 minutes late. Will that be a problem?
we try as much as possible. For the start, yes, but moving forward, it should not be an issue because the first 30 minutes of every class is always a recap of what was done the previous class.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. 2-AZC2.
Teacher Brian,
Yes.
I must say, I'm so excited about this class, the way you explain it. If anyone is here and they're not really excited to join it, then I don't know. I'm so interested and I really appreciate your effort in doing this. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. Karin, I forgot that you were even here. For those who don't know Karin, she's working as a DBA. We took our DBA training together. I remember working a lot with Karin when she was in a job market, and today she is a senior DBA. Karin, welcome. It's a pleasure to connect with you again.
The pleasure is all mine. I'm really excited, everyone.
Oh, outstanding. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
So guys, you see the advantages they're gonna have here, right? You're not, if you are still in the job market, you're gonna be in class with people that are working, right? You have a SQL question as well, you can ask. You will have the help that you need, right? I'm a DBA, Karin is there. A lot of people are there already working in the field. So even if you're having a SQL interview or a question in SQL, we are still there to help you.
Good morning, Ms. Brian. I don't know if it's still morning or afternoon.
Yeah, it's afternoon. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's Rosaria Bueno. I just want to say that I entered the meeting like 30 minutes late. Did I miss something really important or not at all?
Not at all. I think you should be good. You didn't really miss anything that important. It was just...
And I just want to say I'm really excited as well to be in this class, and especially with a lot of support that I can tell. I'll be looking forward to stay in this class.
Perfect. The pleasure is ours. We are happy to have you. And I know you did not take your SQL training with us, but you'll get to understand that JoinIT is a place to be. Okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, any other questions, guys? If not, I'm going to give you back some time to go and prepare, get your computers while I work on putting out the class schedule and finalizing stuff. So what I would do is I'm going to send a link. If you're, is there anyone here who is not in the WhatsApp group? So I believe us all here in the WhatsApp group for the Azure training, are we?
Yes.
Okay. So what I want to do is I'm gonna.
Excuse me, Brian. I don't think I'm in the any WhatsApp group for Azure.
Okay. So what I would do is, please, if you are here, go ahead and send me a message on WhatsApp with your name and your email address. Right, your name, phone number, and email address on WhatsApp. I'm gonna send my WhatsApp number in the chat, so you do that. My number is 210-663-0020. Please kindly do so. Your name, your email address, and your phone number. Just your first and last name, so I can build that class register, and I'll add you in the class group. And just to let you know also how things are being done at JoinIT with our professionalism, you'll see that we have a class platform, right? I'm gonna give you an example of this. You're gonna have a class platform like this. Every announcement is gonna be posted here. You will see it. You have classwork. If you have any assignments, you have to submit them online. You have any projects, you submit them online. On your class, you'll be able to send a message, an email to your instructors. You'll be able to connect with your other classmates and send them, any information. Then if they are great, you'll be able to see them there. So we have a well-structured and professional system to give you that comfort that you need being in a classroom. So everything here is well organized. Okay, so send me your email address, your phone number, and first and last name. I'll build the class register and I'll send you the invite. We hope to see you all on. We hope to see you all on Tuesday from 8 p.m. Stefan, is there anything we want to add?
No, all I just want to say is thank you guys for attending the class. We encourage you to be here. We are not here to, as Brian said, we are not here to make money out of you guys, because we can all get a second job and make more than what we're having now. And I will encourage you, every one of you, to at least after the first month of the class to take the AZ 900. I think it's AZ 900 or GP 900, because there are some jobs out there that are paying well that require just to have that fundamental. You have that fundamental, they're going to take you and they're going to train you in the cloud, because they know you already have the fundamental, you have the on-prem experience. So just give some time, put some time into it, and then you'll not regret it at the end.
That is very correct. And the first week of the class, when you're coming, be ready with your credit card. We'll have you register for the Azure Fundamental. We'll walk you through registration. That is your first target. So the last week of the first month, you all should have that. So on Tuesday, I shall walk you register for that certification. Once you register it, you know that this is something ahead of you. It will push you to work hard. So on Tuesday, come with your credit card. It costs $126, I believe, to register for the Azure Fundamentals. That is the first thing we're going to do on Tuesday. Okay, that was the first thing we're going to do on Tuesday. So once we are teaching, we'll be walking you towards that path. At the end of the first month, you have that fundamentals. It's going to give you that push to continue going higher and higher. Okay?
Yes, sir.
But there's a way to have it for free.
Yeah.
If you go to Microsoft website, you don't need to pay.
Yeah, you can have it for free, but we want to make sure that you've registered for the exam to write.
No, the exams is free. You can have it for free, the fundamentals.
So we want to make sure the first week we'll register for that exam. If it costs you, if it does not cost you, that is fine. But on Tuesday, come in ready for us to register.
Okay. Let's go.
All right, let's do this. Okay, guys. See you all. Don't forget to send me your name, phone number, and email address. Okay, please.
Everybody.
Even if I have it, just send again so I can save it. I can use it for the class.
James about to make more money.
Yeah, the pay is huge.
It's good.
Willie is back.
Mr. Willie. Man, you've
Really?
been quiet lately. Too much money.
From you still recording. Can you please stop recording?
It's the Omicron, the COVID, man.
I want to blast Willie a little bit.
Money
Okay,
teaches
guys.
people how to concoct. I can see it from you.